Hello my fellow pod pilots of New Eden, EddieRio here, back in the world of faction warfare within EVE Online, and this time in a stabber. That's right, I've moved up to a cruiser. I'm slowly getting some skill points on my ult. However, this stabber fit is more for killing frigs than other cruisers. I'll take you through the fit in a minute. I just wanted to show you this pretty funny fight that I came across as soon as I pretty much took this stabber out. I had two slashers come on scan while I was in the middle of a plex, and you know when you're willing something to just come into your plex and start fighting you, these two slashers obliged, and it didn't take long before they locked me up and started shooting me, mostly shooting my drones to start with, which is a good move by them to try and take my drones out. But also, in their spare high slot that they had, they decided to fit firework launchers. So I got a free light show while I was taking them out. I'll be honest and say at first I started to panic a little bit. I didn't really know what was going on or what all these explosions were at first, and it took a little time to sort of twig what was going on, but fair play to them for doing that, because it's pretty cool. I don't think normally a couple of slashers would attack a stabber or a cruiser, but I think because my ult looks a bit noobish and perhaps looks like he might not have many skill points, or he's just kind of in a fit for plexing the sites, that he's going to get people aggressing him far more than I think he would on my main character. But again, look at the light show that's going on here. Fair play for these two for doing that. I don't know whether they're going for some sort of confusion tactics, which sort of worked at first, but I like it. You gotta like pretty lights, haven't you? So I've made well over 1 million loyalty points in faction warfare at the moment, and I was having a look at the store hoping to buy some faction ships such as sort of Stabber Fleet issue, the Firetail, Thrasher Fleet issue, but they've changed it slightly. So you used to be able to just buy the ships directly and then obviously jump in, start PvPing, but now you can only get the blueprints, which I think is a step backwards a little bit, because now I've got to buy the blueprints. Perhaps what do? Do I train an ult into manufacturing that, or do I just get someone else to manufacture it, or do I just sell my loyalty points? But it seems like a convoluted way around it. Obviously I'm in faction warfare to PvP. I want to be able to jump into ships and earn ships and fly them using that, so I'm not sure. Don't know how to spend my hard-earned loyalty points at the moment. So if you've got any suggestions on that, please let me know in the comments, perhaps how to maximise the sort of ISK per loyalty points. That would be really useful. Well, got to say thank you to the fight for those two slashers. That was very entertaining. You managed to get most of my drones. So let's have a little look at the fit. As you can see, I've got power grid issues, so I do have to take a 1% power grid implant, but that's just a skills issue. I think if you've got better skills than me, you'd be able to fit this just fine. So it's dual 180 autocannons, a couple of small newts, web, scram, afterburner, cap booster, damage control, ancillary rep, 800 plate, and a multi-spectrum energized plate thingy bob. A couple of rigs, one for tracking, one for damage, and one just to fill the resists in the armor. Like I said, this is to get those frigs. I want frigs to come nice and close to me so that I can newt them, scram them, web them, and then start applying damage to them. And here comes a Federation Navy Comet to try and do just that. Really like Navy Comets, used to fly them a lot years ago, so it's good to see that they're still being used now. This is the perfect ship that I want to aggress me. This is exactly what I'm built to try and kill, so I want him to aggress me here on the gate, which he does, and all I've got to do is apply my damage, my web, get those newts on him. The newts is what's going to make the difference in this battle. I've only got one newt running at the moment. I think I forgot to activate the other one, and then I activate it, and I've just got to keep going. He's applying a fair amount of DPS to me at the moment, and he's almost got me in half armor, and I'm only just touching his armor, but just as those newts really start to apply pressure to him, that's when I really start applying DPS to him as well. He starts to slow down, make a little bit of range. I managed to get a few really good shots off on him, and then from that point he's pretty much toast-lit. But like in this stabber at the moment, my skills aren't great for a cruiser at the moment, but it seems to be working. I've obviously died a few times to camps and other cruisers, but for killing frigs like this, it's working really well. But good fight. There were a few more targets in local then as well that didn't show up, so that was good. Next up, I've got a coercer that decides to come and have a pop, so I feel pretty confident about this as long as he doesn't start trying to kite me. But you know, confidence can only take you so far in this game. You never know what you're going to come up against. I remember before attacking battle cruisers when I'm in a frig and coming out on top, and you just don't know what is going on with the other person sat on the computer at the other end of their ship. And sometimes at the end of the night you've been roaming around for a while and you haven't had any fight, and you just think, oh, I'll just take this fight, and you end up, you know, killing something that you shouldn't, or dying in a blaze of glory. But either way, it's just worth having a pop sometimes and seeing what happens. So yep, that was a coercer down. That's another one, and we've got a coercer navy issue coming in now, or rather me jumping into his site. Instantly I can tell he's at range and he's moving fast. He's going to be a slippery little fish. So he's greased me up and starts sliding around me and applying DPS to me, and I've got to try and get him in weathered scram range. Rather than instantly try and bail, I think I've got some time here. He's not applying that much DPS that I can tank it a little bit, that I can try and slingshot him a little bit, and by that I mean I'm going to move in the opposite direction to what he is, and then try and approach him and see if I can get close enough to get a scram and a web on him. But he's going a lot faster than me, and this is a little bit hopeless, but I want to practice and give it a try. I've certainly got a little bit of time before I start needing to bail properly. He's pretty focused on plinking away at my drones at the moment, so I decided to sort of recall them, and then you've got to play the whole recalling the drones and then jettisoning the drones and that. But at the moment I just decide to keep them in and see if this slingshot's going to work as I get closer to 16 kilometers, but then he starts making range again, and I think perhaps this is not going to be possible at all. So now I'm looking at trying to bail, which I think is going to be quite difficult because he can obviously keep at the distance that he wants on me, so it's going to be quite tricky for me. So I decide to align to a celestial, which is in the opposite direction, and I hit warp and away I go, so not that difficult in the end. Next up we have a wolf. In my head I've got it that it's going to be a fast kiting artillery wolf, which is what I would fit a wolf out like, but it doesn't appear to be because he doesn't want to make range. I managed to get the scram and web on him before he makes range and start getting those newts on and applying the DPS. As you can see at the moment I'm barely hitting him, although he's hitting me quite well, but as those newts start to take effect and his speed starts dropping, the drones start kicking in and I start making a few shots, then a bit of damage starts taking. One thing that I do remember to do is to stagger my newts, so once the neutralization on his cap has taken place, the staggering of it means that hopefully he's not going to be able to get any capacitor back. He then starts trying to move away from me because I think he's trying to get away, and this is perfect because that keeps that kind of transversal right down to nothing, and then I really start to hit him hard. Just make sure I keep him in scram range, and down he goes. Great little fight, and I was quite glad that he was brawler fit rather than kitey fit, because I think that made it a lot easier for me. Next up, I thought I'd include one of these at least. This is what happens most of the time when you go out solo PvPing and you're trying to get about and look for little fights, is obviously a gate camp, and there's nothing that I can do. They're going to have some SIBOs on and be able to lock me up quite quickly. So what I normally do in this situation is I try and pick what I think is going to maybe go down the quickest, so I'm looking down there and think maybe I'll have a go at the Sabre. I'm going to have a go at locking him up and just applying DPS. There's no chance that I'm going to get him, but it's better than nothing. So yeah, that's about it for this video. I'm having a look at the Brawling Rifter at the moment. I'm also looking at the Rupture, flying that one a little bit, and I also want to leave Faction Warfare briefly just to do the Sisters of EvE Epic arc, which I might do a video on that, and then rejoin Faction Warfare. It's great that you can just join and unjoin Faction Warfare as quickly as you want. And I need to look at how I'm going to spend my loyalty points to get me some nicer ships, because I'm running out of money quickly. But thoroughly enjoying it. Anyway, till the next one, fly safe.